Hello everyone, welcome back to the chess channel for beginners. This is Chess Addict here. Um, Today, I just made an effort. I said, you know what, I'm gonna get up over 1600 and then start playing some longer games, some 10 and 15-minute games to get my other ratings up. So some of the games I'm gonna post, I'll still keep the videos to around 10 to 15 minutes long. But this one particular video, I want to demonstrate the Carro-Kann advanced variation, and it was a pretty interesting game. The opponent that I was facing was just under 1600, and the game was pretty well. But in the end, I was able to make a key move to go ahead and solidify the mate. It wasn't a very easy road, and I had to avoid some pitfalls. So I want to share with you those pitfalls, and maybe we can catch a couple of blunders like we normally do. Like I said before, I'm not a grandmaster. I just really enjoy chess. I'm addicted to it. I've been playing for a little while, and I've decided to make videos and share my journey. So let's get into it. Okay, so the opponent plays e4, and the Carro-Kann opens with c6. And my opponent plays knight f3. I play d5. Okay, so this is not the advanced variation. This is the exchange variation. So let me correct that. This is the exchange variation. For some reason, that was the previous game. The previous game I played the advanced variation. I'll make a video on that one. Okay, so that's the exchange variation, and this is what makes it the exchange variation. Is the exchange that occurs right here on d5. Okay. So you want to get that bishop out and close with e6, get him outside of the pyramid on the exchange variation. Same thing on the advanced variation as well, where your opponent elects not to take right there and then advances the pawn. Okay, so he threatens the queen right here by playing bishop g5, and then instead of offering the dark square bishop exchange, I put a pawn in his face, and he takes with the light square bishop, which I don't mind because I want to open up this file. You're not going to get an argument out of me if I'm playing white and you want to sacrifice your bishop to give me an entire file. I'm good with that. I am so good with that. But the opening that he's using, which is similar to the Scandinavian, he's going to castle queen side by moving the queen to the center. Castle queen side, and the whole point of this is to put pressure on both the H file and on the G file, so that he could either get another queen or end up mating you with having the slot for the queen to slide down. But you will get into that later in the game. So the computer is telling me I should pop the king to e7. I don't agree with the computer. I just want to keep my options open. Obviously, I'm not going to castle. I'm not going to castle. Well, I could castle to the king side and just protect the flank, but I'm not going to. All right, so already he's putting that pressure that I was just talking about. So I want to get that knight out the way by forcing the knight exchange. So if you didn't see that, let me go back. Okay, so right here, now I have a little bit better understanding, because at this point in the game I'm really not exactly sure what he wants to do, but I don't like the setup. So the first thing I want to do is get this knight out of the game, and that's the first mistake he made. He did not come straight down. He was supposed to come straight down and take this pawn. He did not. So I come up with the queen to protect the pawn, castle, and bypass the pawn exchange, move my king over one, and now I'm going to pin the pawn to the king. That's a good practice to do. And now I'm going to snap off one of his rooks and place him down a little bit. Now the computer generator, move generator, and myself agreed that me taking the knight, taking the pawn on d4 was the strongest move. So there it is. He found a way to open that file up, but it's also a problem here. You have allowed me to have a queen and knight combination with the knight on the optimal squares with your king on one side of the board. So beginners, if someone gets you in this position to where the queen is facing that center pawn, you're in trouble. You're in a lot of trouble, and I'm going to show you why. So I build myself a little escape hatch by playing the move a6. The computer double question marks it, saying that's an error. I have to play the best that I can because I'm not a grandmaster and I've not played countless numbers of games. I just know that I want to be able to get off this back rank, period. So now I play the rook over to the H file. Now the rook is handicapped. So it's like I don't have a rook back here for this very reason, because the rook has to guard that pawn, and it has another rook on it, and a simple sacrifice and he queens up, and if you can't get from off this line, it's checkmate. So now my rook is tied up, and now he's bringing help. Okay, cool. So I am too. So check. Threatening checkmate right here. Check. Well, it's not check. All right. So now I place the. He's threatening check, but once again I built an escape hatch, and I just slide over here. But now his knight's no good. Why? Because the next check he gets, he's checking right into the king, right into the queen. He can't really. What he could do is he could become a blocker. And we'll use the knight to allow this pawn to come on in, but we're not going to give him that much time. So he moves his king. I open the knight back up, brings the queen into play. Check. Check. His queen at this point, if you look, that's a fork on the queen. The game is over at this point. Checkmate is unavoidable. He cannot escape. He can't bring the king over to c1 because the queen is cutting that diagonal off. There's only one place he can bring the queen, and if he could, he can't. But if he could, it wouldn't matter, and it would work best for me because he would lose his queen, and then check in tempo again, and then from there I could probably get another check in tempo and take his rook. But that's not the way chess played. He can't move to c1, so that's neither here nor there. And currently he's in check, and he can't move to b2, and he can't stay on b1, so he has to move to g1, a1, and by him moving to a1, guess what? It's checkmate. So let's go back and look at the sequence. All right, so it all started from right here. Remember, beginners, when I told you this, if they get that knight lined up, if you see this, you're in a lot of trouble, and you have to do something about it. Now, see, I missed a move because here, check, and the queen is already off the board. Then he takes. Then I come up here, then he has to come here, and then I slide here, and he bounces there, and then I push this pawn, and maybe he goes here, and then I slide here, check, he comes up, I put pressure on this rook, the rook comes down, put pressure on this, knight moves out the way, check in tempo. He moves here. I slide here, check. He moves right here. He gets check, take, and he'll probably come here, open up that. I'll take this, and then I am clearly winning. Like, there's no way. There's no way for him. You would have to resign the position. And that's because I missed a move. I missed a complete. So even with me missing a move, and I really did miss a move. I missed an excellent move. I went to the wrong side. I went this way, check. And then I got that move right back. Checkmate. So, the biggest tip is when you see someone trying to line this queen up on your king, like in that situation, you're already castled. You need to try to find a way to kick the queen. Do not let that queen stay right there, especially with a knight. Especially with a knight. Because just about any move you make is wrong. Almost any move you make is wrong. I'm sure Grandmaster knows a different way, but a lot of them will probably agree that I'm telling you right. You better kick the queen. You don't let the queen, and the knight stay right there in that situation. At some point in the game, you have to abandon your... If you can't calculate 9 and 12 moves ahead, which there's nothing wrong with that if you can't. There's most of the people that play chess can't, but if you, although you have friends who swear up and swear by it that they can, and they're lying, they can't. Okay, so because there's the human factor. I mean, you would have to be playing another grandmaster, and you know some deep theory for you to calculate what move they're gonna move next, because there's a human factor. Some people play unorthodox. I mix theory and unorthodox moves all the time. I'll play theory for like 12 moves, and then I'm completely away from theory. I mean, even Magnus Carlsen said that he gets off of theory intentionally just to confuse his opponent so they don't know what he's going to play next. I do it with the London, I do it with the Carro-Kann, I do it with Sicilian, I do it with any opening that I use. So anyway, back to the video. You know, not being able to calculate that many moves ahead, you're not really going to know what they're going to do. So you just need to, sometimes you have to abandon your plan to basically, like I said in a previous video, sometimes you have to abandon your plan to react to what they have going on, and you don't know how many moves they need to get accomplished. With a queen and a knight together and the king in the corner, there's not very many moves you have left. Not very many at all. Because the knight covers so many areas. The knight covers 360 degrees. 360 degrees. So a knight in the center covers 8 spots. 8 spots on the board. The board only has 64 squares. So a knight on the board covers 8 places. That's a lot. That's a lot of spots that knight can cover. And to have him have your king trapped in the corner with a queen also, where she can pin a pawn and take away that protection where it's useless and remove those other ones, yeah, you'll be in trouble. Okay, so don't let that happen. And even with me making a bad move, this particular opponent here, who is not a beginner, essentially lost his queen not once but twice. I missed the first time, and I had the same move set up again. Why? Because he was dead set on staying right there. Was not going to abandon the plan. Had he abandoned his plan, he could have easily won this game. For instance, prior to any of this, instead of making that king move, the best move is right here. Come up, check. No, he just couldn't. His checkmate was over. He couldn't. The only way for him to stop this would be the only way for him to abandon this would probably be to play this move. Check. Nope. I don't see how. There was a move that he missed somewhere. I'm not sure where. But his queen should have been on this row right here. Had he gotten his queen to here, it would have forced me to come here. Then, now, the table is turned. Now, I have to go here. And go back. Check. And then here. And then mate. even then, he was just a move. This opponent was too many moves behind. That's what I'm gonna conclude this with. The opponent was just too many moves behind. Because if he could have gotten his queen to this back row and then slid down or slid to here. And I know you're saying, well, you're taking him with the... Yeah, of course, I would have taken him. But there's a pawn right there. So, he slides... Let's say he slides down. I take... Then... he queens. Then I have to take. And then he takes. And even then, there's no way he can win from this point. Okay? But this was a good video demonstrating the Carro-Kann. If we go and we analyze the moves starting at the beginning of the opening, I can tell you what's supposed to happen. Because typically that's not what's supposed to happen. This point is all theory. To include retreating the bishop back to g6. That's all theory. Taking the pawn. Now that move, that's not theory. That's not theory. That's something that that's part of his opening. That part is theory. Exchanging the light square bishops and keeping the dark square. I guess that's theory too. But on the Carro-Kann, you want to develop knights to the inside. Why? Because look where that queen is. That's why. Your king is not pinned. Okay? And then you move your knight out. That's actually not a really good spot, but it's the best spot based on the castle. Now if he comes down and takes this pawn, I can't castle. I'm stuck in the middle of the board. And this is where everything went wrong for him. So if you play this way and you're playing white, you can see you have to come down and you have to take that pawn quickly and not let it linger. Okay? As always, thank you so much for watching the video. If you like the video, hit like, subscribe, leave me a comment, shoot me an email with a question. It's chessaddict35802 at gmail.com. It's chessaddict35802 at gmail.com. Click like and subscribe. Help me promote the channel. Peace.